Hey, good morning, guys. This is Mubi here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. After a very long time, I'm trying to make a video on Excel. I've been really busy with my work. So, today, what we are going to do is we are going to learn how to make a quick dashboard using Indirect. All right, so let's begin. You can see the Excel. I have opened a very new Excel, and the shortcut is Control N. After opening the Excel, let's have just one column that is offered. Okay, and date. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to have data from, let's say, 2018 January, right? And then we will just drag it down to, okay, I, okay, so the shortcut which I'm going to use is Alt EIS. Otherwise, what you can do is you can go to second column, do a +1, and then drag it down. Okay, so we have data till 7th of July. Let us drag it further. Okay, so now we are in December. Let's have 31st of December. Okay, I'm going to delete this and use ran between, let's say 100 to 1000. Control Enter. Okay, so let me paste it manually. Okay, so now generally what I do is this is also these kind of questions I also asked during my interview that okay, if I give you data for 2 years, how will you represent? And people say we will try to do it monthly, we will try to do it weekly, some says we will try to do it yearly. But to analyze day level data, we can start with, let's say, week first. So week. Now we can use week num, but I don't prefer that. I prefer 1 equals to 1 minus weekday date. Let's say um, my week starts from Sunday to Saturday. So I'm selecting 1 parenthesis close plus the same date. It's gonna give me is the date of the same week from which the Sunday is going to begin. Or I can use a month. Okay, rather than using a text month, I always prefer end of month so that it is always numericals 0. Okay, 3. Okay, so you can see that it is the date is coming as Jan. We can also use year equals to year. Okay. Oh, so you can see that. All right, let me drag it down. We can also use week 1 to 7. We can use quarter. Now, if you see, there is no formula for quarter. It's quartile. All right. So if you want to see Q1, Q2, how will you do that? So we can do is we can, take the unique for the month. Let's say we can take a unique of the month, Alt AM. So all duplicates have been removed. So we have 31st Jan till 31st. What you can do is we can do a manual Q1, similar, Q2, oops, and then Q3. I'm just showing that to you. We can use Q4. Oh, sorry. And we can do a VLOOKUP to take out a quarter as well. The simplest idea. All right. Now let's not focus on okay, let's just update quarter as well. Okay, goes to VLOOKUP month, comma, F4, comma, 2, comma, 0. Okay. It's a random number, so these numbers will always change. So you can see that there is only one column. Okay. And we are trying to analyze this column into date-wise, week-wise, month-wise, year-wise, quarter-wise. We can also use week 1 to 7. I'm not going to get into that detail. Okay, let's value paste this, Control C Alt SV. Okay, and delete this. Now what's going to happen? Let's name this sheet as Alt HOR Dubai. What we can do is we can, let me first quickly take a pivot and showcase the value. All right, so let's say if we do Alt DP, select the data, Shift Tab, finish, and you can see that there's only one data point offered. Let me put it in the value. So this is a combination of all the 2 years. If we put week, we got the week wise. If we put week over here, okay, if we remove week, oops. Okay, if we remove week, we get the data month wise. And similarly year wise. So pivot is basically linked to only one sheet. Now I want to have dynamic data. So what I'm going to do, let me first delete this sheet, Alt EL. And what we will do is, because now we have a standard format. All right. So what we are going to do is we are going to copy this sheet. Let's say Alt EM. We will make 3 sheets out of it. Alt EM, create a copy. So now we have Dubai. Let's make Egypt. And let's say India. Wow. And what we'll do is we'll make one more copy of it. Alt EM. Okay, let me say this as a summary. So what we are going to do is, now we know that the data, if we try to do a VLOOKUP over here, let's do a quick VLOOKUP, all right? Because the data formats are same, let's do a quick VLOOKUP equals to VLOOKUP. This, comma, let's go to India, F4, comma, 2, comma, 0. So now we were able to bring our data in this new summary sheet. Now, because we brought data only from India, if I'm able to take this India out, replace it with Egypt or Dubai, then the entire data points will change. And that's what the indirect function will help me to do. All I have to do is just write down 3 names. Let's say India. Let's write down first Dubai, Egypt, and India. Now let me give a validation for them, just for a quick purpose. Equal Alt AV. We'll go to data validation, select, enter, do a tab, go and select the list. We have the source over here. So now I know if I can select anything, divide, I can cut and I can put it anywhere. Let me put it over here. Okay. So now you have Egypt. So because these are random data, let me just value paste it. I'm selecting all the three sheet, Control C, or let me just select this offered row, Control C, Alt SV. So now you can see that there is a value pasted for Egypt as well, India as well, all three sheets together selected. Let me go to summary. Now this data is coming from India. What I'm going to do is I'm going to simply, I cannot take out India and directly map this cell. It won't work. It will give me an error. You can see that. Yeah? What I'm going to do is, see, can you see the error? Because I replaced India with F1. It's not going to work. All I have to do is use the function indirect. Let me just first value paste the same formula. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write int indirect. Okay, and now I will delete India from here. Where is India? Over here on top. That's the cell. I'm going to lock it. So now India is over there. What about these two? All I have to do is just concatenate it using ampersand, and then the columns in quotation mark. Oh, I have to close the bracket as well for indirect. And here I go and close the bracket. Now you know what? If I change India to Egypt, the data will change. To Dubai, it will give me a different data. Now we know this is just for the validation purpose. Now if I go ahead and take a pivot, Alt DP, and oh, it's the, let me see if that works. Okay. Oops. I'm going to keep it in values as well. Okay, and let me select year-wise, year and quarter over here in column. Now, oops, okay. All right, so if I select Dubai over here, what if I cut this? Oh, let me see. Let me copy this and paste it here, and I link it over there. Okay, Control C, Alt ES L. So if I make change over here, let me see. Oh, sorry. Okay, I have to use validation again. Alt AV, data validation, list, going to summary. Okay, because I just copy pasted the same data. Let me just copy and paste it over here as well in the column H. So now you can see that it's Egypt. So if I refresh, Alt AR, oh, because it has changed to Egypt. Okay, so this is one way because the values are changing. So pivot will not consider it dynamic. If I change this from Egypt to TV data validation list source, let me select this again. This is, if I select this India, Let me see if I refresh Alt AR. Okay, so every time if I do it in Pivot, I have to manually go ahead and add this. So what if I, okay, make a dashboard out of it? So see, you cannot, I'm not able to make this directly in Pivot, even though the data is changing, but every time I change the data, it is again going ahead and making the, you have to refresh the pivot, and that's very complicated. So I'm going to delete the pivot. Okay. Why it's giving an error? Because there's nothing over here. Let me do validation. List. Okay. Let me select the list and source is 3. Okay. Now Dubai, Egypt, and India. So all the data is here. Now what if now we have brought all the data over here. Now rather I can directly use SUMIF rather than having this problem. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the week and dates. Okay, I'm going to delete the quarter and year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take only the month. So we know we started from 31st Jan. That was Jan minus 2018. Okay, equals to end of month selection, comma 1. So now I can proceed with my data points. So we know we have the data for 2 years. So let me delete this further. Okay, and let me delete this as well. Just this one. Now what I want is the data over here, offered volume, right? I'm going to use the same SUMIFs from India, column F, look, and then month, look, comma. I'm going to go back to sheet, select the summary. So now we know. Okay, let me change this, control 1. Okay, I don't want, I want 0, no spaces, enter, control D. So now we know the data is coming only from India. We know the SUMIFs, the range, the sum range is going to remain the same. The criteria range, because it's a standard format, if I just change India over here, no need to change in the criteria. Even if I change India over here, the data will be from the different rows. So similarly, what we are going to do is we are going to use indirect delete India. Let's say select F1, lock it, ampersand, quotation mark, bracket close, enter. Now there is nothing in F1. But what if I do Alt AV, a validation, and select list, select the same 3. Now we have Dubai. So you have the data. All you have to do is just drag it down, do a control D, and you're done. You can take this somewhere wherever you require. Let's say over here, you can make a graph out of it. Do a shortcut Alt F1. So you know this is the volume. This is how the volume is going to be for Dubai. Okay. All right. So now let me just delete the grid lines. I can select add data labels. It's too hefty, right? I don't want data labels to look like this. I want their format to be simple. Format data label. And drag it down. Numbers. I want to use it custom. It's in thousands, so let me use it number. Oh, sorry. Number. And then comma, space K. Let me see if this works. Okay. All right, it's working. So now instead of showing 18,000, it is just showing 18K. I like it short. Now, if you want to use a decimal, the simplest idea is to use the same custom numbers. Just go ahead and give number, the hash, and put a decimal in between, and then give another hash, and it will give in point. Let me show that to you guys real quick. Number, see over here, instead of comma, I can use, before comma, I can use dot and hash. So if I use hash, you can see that it will change. Let me click it somewhere. Oops. Okay. I have to add it. Okay, it's not. I forgot to add. So I can use dot hash, and if I add, you can see that now there is a decimal. I can remove the decimal as well. All right, let's do that some other time. And what we will do is we will select this. I don't like the font alignment. Let me have it in vertical, and then let it be inside end. Okay. Oh, let me use the font as white and extend the graph a little bit. It's looking a bit shabby. What we can do is we can do the alignment. Let's say the same number, instead of, we can use the same K, and then we can use bigger graphs. We can reduce the gap. Okay, or we can increase the gap. Okay, I like it this way. And I think the gap is too much. What we can do is we can remove the K if we want. And let's go back to numbers, scroll down further. Let's just not use the space over here, and space over here, and then add. And you can see that. Okay, so it's 18K, 13K, 14K. All right, if we want to make this look really good, VG, we can remove the grid lines. We can hide this simply by giving the color white, right? And we have the data points. If we want, we can use this. We can make this bigger, all right? Um, so Alt H, oh, sorry, Alt HMC. It's working. Let me see. Oh yeah, now it's coming. All right. So you want to see it over here like this. Scroll down. So when you're giving a summary, just select Alt H. Okay. I want this divide to look really big, you know. Let me increase the font here. Alt H BT. And now you can see that I can select Dubai, I can select India, and the graph will change, and I can select Egypt, and this looks really nice. Uh, okay, simple. I hope so. You guys really enjoyed it. So thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye bye.